Yeah, there's something outside. Oh my God, no. What in the hell is that? Would you guys like to be scared? Welcome to Nightmares, anyone? Let's get scared. Hey everybody, welcome to Nightmares, anyone? This is Richard. It is Sunday, July 7th, and man, I've got 3 reviews. I've got so many reviews to share with you guys. Sorry, I've just been super busy with jewelry orders, bridal sets. I've had some friends go through some family losses and all that good stuff. But let's get into some horror. So, wow, I've been reading tons lately. And as you can see, I've got my Fun with Chainsaw shirt on. Yeah. So today it is, it's been fucking miserable here. The heat has been terrible. It's been in the 110s, 113s, 114s. Today it's going to be a little bit cooler. It's going to be 105 degrees. But I am hydrating. So I've got some books I want to share with you that I got in the mail. One from a great author and friend. But I want to welcome some new subscribers to the channel. So, yeah, I haven't done this in a while. So let's go. Hopefully everybody's 4th of July was good. Ours was crazy. It was super hot here. We had a fire right down the street. Just dumb people with their illegal fireworks. They're illegal here in California. So that was a whole nother story. So in no particular order, let's welcome to Nightmares, anyone. Let's welcome Tiddly Bits, Laura Nadeau, or Nadow, Chaos Reigns, Lego Queen, Tina Hollis, Max's Knife, Ray Allen, Cheryl and Tom, and the Dark Prince. So that's kind of scary. And speaking of the Dark Prince, that goes perfectly with one of the books I'm going to be reviewing. So, first off, I'm going to be doing 2 vintage horror classics. And then I'm going to be doing a new book. Came out in 2022 by a newly discovered author that I really have taken a liking to. So, let's get into the first one. So, this author is not going to be new to a lot of you. A lot of you younger readers might not have ever heard of this author. He hasn't published anything in a long time. I don't even know if he's still with us or if he's still publishing horror. But he is the author of many classics from the 80s. And even 90s, I think. I'm not sure. But I'm going to be doing a review by John Coyne. Now, his first horror novel I remember reading in the 80s was The Legacy, also turned into a movie starring Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross. And it was a creepy-ass tale about witchcraft. And then he wrote books like The Searing, which this one was. Yeah. His books were always very thought-provoking. This one scared the shit out of me. This was The Shroud. This book really creeped me out. Yeah. And then he wrote this one, which I still have not read. This is The Hunting Season. These are just some of his books. And then wow, I just noticed I messed up my cover on the back of this. But this is what I'm going to be doing the review on today. Yeah, this is The Piercing. And this came out originally, I think this was a Jove. It was a hardback, but I think it sold more copies in paperback. And this came out in July of 1980, so 44 years ago. So yeah, this definitely can fall under as vintage horror. So on the front it says, the terrifying new novel of unspeakable evil by the best-selling author of The Legacy. And it says on the back, nothing hurts worse than perfect love. Betty Sue is a nationwide sensation. What happens to her unwilling body once a week, every week, is haunting, horrifying, and fascinating to millions. The TV says it's a miracle. The church says it's a fake. Both are wrong. Only a priest tormented by lust who is willing to trade body for soul can penetrate the unholy secret of the piercing. And Frank D. Falletta, author of Audrey Rose and the Entity, said, I read it in one gasp-filled sitting. Yeah. So, this book actually was, I had not read it in, oh my God, probably 44 years, since it probably originally came out. Now, wow, where do I start with this? This book starts off with the prologue taking place in 1973, and then it goes to 5 years later, 1978, and a young priest is sent away from the church after kind of falling in love and having an illicit affair with a young woman in the church. And he is sent away for his punishment and his wrongdoing to the Appalachian Mountains to live in the monastery, whatever they call it, with the other priests. But he gets news of a young teenage girl who lives with a very poor family, and they live in a shack. And every week on Friday, this started when the girl was 12, and it has gone on now for almost 5 years. And every Friday, this young lady violently bleeds from both her hands, her feet, her side, and her forehead, all the way around her head, like the crown of thorns. She bleeds in the same exact places as the 5 wounds of Christ. Now, this is not an easy to read book. It has got child rape. It has got extreme scenes of violence and almost what you would call demonic possession. This poor girl goes through hell. She has no idea why. Her parents do not want to accept it. They do not want to talk about it. Well, this young priest and a news reporter go to investigate, and what they uncover and what they find out is going on with this young woman is just absolutely it's terrifying. It was scarier, I thought, than when I first read The Exorcist I think I read The Exorcist when I was like 13. I had read this, like I said, in 1980 when it came out. So yeah, I was 19 when I first read this book. and it terrified me. It was scary. And I'm going to read something that I wrote on my, let me go back. I'm going to read to you what I wrote on my Goodreads review. I said, reliving this classic and vintage horror from 1980 was so worth it again. The author really needed to publish more horror in his days. Are you ready to see Christ? It has been since 1981 that I first read this, and I decided to pick it up again. I'm going to throw on my glasses really quick. You're probably going to get some glare, but it won't be that. It'll be really quick. It had been since 1980 that I first read this, and I decided to pick it up again this week. This was a couple weeks ago. Since it has been a long time having read anything by Coyne, wow, I completely forgot how disturbingly graphic and gory this was. I remember when I first read The Exorcist in 1975 and never having thought it was really that scary. I so remember when this book also came out. Seeing the cardboard stand-up display in my local B. Dalton bookseller, I knew I had to read another horror book by Coyne after reading his book, The Legacy. Betty Sue Watkins, at the time of only being 12 years old, starts to experience the 5 wounds of Christianity and Jesus Christ himself. Being the daughter in a poor white Appalachian family, her parents do nothing about it. When a Catholic priest hears about this now almost 18-year-old miracle child of God, he and a news reporter decide to do a story about this girl. Is she really a true divination of God and a true stigmatic? You can decide. The book is actually more terrifying, I always thought, than The Exorcist. And not really being a religious person, this to me was very scary. I highly still recommend it to this day. This vintage horror classic, 4.5 drops of blood, warnings, disturbing sexual violence scenes of child rape and gore. Yeah, this book is disturbing. Reading it and, like I said, reliving it again, this poor girl, I mean, when she's 12 years old, a young man that works on her parents' farm takes advantage of her in a very graphic and disturbing way. So, from a young age, Betty Sue just has no one to turn to. And when you read this, Coyne has a way of writing that you actually feel what's going on, and the scenes of gore and the disturbing scenes, which are rather violent, of her going through this stigmata, you just can't help but feel sorry for her. And like I said, I highly recommend this book. If you've never read anything by Coyne, pick up any of his works of horror. He also wrote a book called Child of Shadows. It was okay. It came out in the 90s. It might have even came out in the 2000s. I can't remember. It wasn't one of my favorites by him. However, it was still good. And he also wrote another book called Fury. Not the Fury about the twins, but yeah, he really wrote some great horror. And yeah, so that one I rated 4.5 stars. I would have given it a perfect 5-star rating if I don't know why I didn't give it a 5-star rating. I did listen to the audiobook, and it was so well done. But yeah, I was listening to the audiobook and reading the copy at the same time. So it was great to follow. But good book. So the next one I want to do is a review of a book from 2022 by Frida McFadden. This book right here, The Inmate. Now, I'm showing you the digital audio book cover because I do not own this book. I listened to it on my Everand account, as I did her other 2 books that I've read, The Perfect Son and oh God, I'm having a brain fart right now. It's like it's a total bitch getting old, you guys. But this was the 3rd book I read by her. Now, I was supposed to do a review on this a week ago on my other channel, Real Minecraft 2, with Debbie, also known as Cajun, and she just had some interruptions where she couldn't do it, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my review here on this channel. But so I'm going to read to you what I wrote on my Goodreads account. So I said, with this being my 3rd book by McFadden, I will most definitely read more. Pick this up and get ready for suspense and surprises all the way till the very end. Now, Frida McFadden is one of those authors. She's written many books. I think she's written like 12 or 13 books, and they're all suspense thrillers. Now, this woman can write a thriller to where you think you have it figured out, and she takes you right to the very edge, right to the very end of the book, and you never figure it out. Now, Bruce, my partner, listened to this right after I did, and he told me, he said, oh, I think I know who, is the bad person in this book, and he gave me a name, and he was thinking the same way I was, and I told him, I said, nope, you're wrong. But I wrote, Frida McFadden is an author that I accidentally discovered a little over a year ago while I was searching for another audiobook to listen to. And am I ever glad that I did. I love this woman's writing and her way of making my skin crawl. I first read her book, The Perfect Son, and I was immediately hooked and blown away by such a messed up thriller horror novel, and by a woman, no doubt. She hit it out of the park again with Ward D, and now this one. Brooke Sullivan is a single mother of a 10-year-old boy and needs to take a job as the newest nurse practitioner at the men's security prison. What? Yes, really. Shane Nelson is one of the prison's most seriously sick inmates, as he was found guilty of the gruesome murders in their town some years back. And this is the reason Brooke needs to make sure she succeeds in this position. What is her obsession with Shane, and what is the connection between Shane and her friend Margie? The same Margie that takes care of her son after he comes home from school? Okay, I don't know if I would have hired this woman to take care of my son, but there had to be something, that drew her to have this lady but she didn't know anything. I highly recommend McFadden's writing. If you have never read her, and if you have not read this yet, pick it up now. I loved this book. I gave this book 5 drops of blood on my channel. This book was so much fun. It's graphic in places, in complete different ways, but her horror, let me throw this down here. Yeah, sorry I'm moving kind of weird, you guys. I have a messed up right clavicle and it's like out of place, so it's pushing on my lung. But McFadden's writing, she just, she gets you hooked. And if you like a good thriller with scenes of horror in it, and just a greatly executed and written book where the twist just comes at you, not till the very end. And yeah, I really, really like this book. I felt sorry for her. Yeah, she's the main character. Brooke is kind of almost to where you think she's going to be one of those stupid women that just does stupid things. And yeah, in a way she kind of is. She just, she's one of those characters that, yeah, she just agrees with everybody, does what anybody tells her to do. But it was good. It was really, really good. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. Yeah, I still want to do the review on the my other channel, Debbie Cajun. But let's get to the last review. So this one, I just finished listening to the audiobook, and the audiobook is kind of funny. It's called Black Angel. I'll put the cover of it up right here. And when I started listening to it a couple nights ago, I thought, God, this really sounds familiar. And I thought, okay, I know the story. I know this story. This has got to be Master of Lies. And yeah, it was. It's a new re-release with a new cover of this book, Graham Masterton's Master of Lies. Now, this book was so messed up. As with Graham Masterton, I have loved this man since the 70s when I was a young teenager, and I picked up his first book that the world fell in love with, The Manitou. And The Manitou had 4 sequels, and that book just got me hooked on Graham Masterton. I read everything that he released. Now this book, this book is really messed up. The scenes of gore and body horror are so extreme in this book. And I remember when I read the book, in fact, it came out, oh my God, I think this book originally, yeah, it came out in 1991. And it's just, oh my God. So there is a serial killer in San Francisco, and it takes place in the 80s. It takes place in like 1988, 89. People are dying all over San Francisco from AIDS, and it's just a tragic time. And wow, here's just some of the praise for this book. But I'm going to read you what it says on the inside of the cover. It says, a neat and nasty occult fright, horror full of energy and surprises. The Fog City Satan has brutally murdered 24 men, women, and children in a series of bizarre, somehow ritualized killings. San Francisco is terrified. Locks and alarms offer no protection from the maniac, and the police are stymied. After a former cop, his wife, and their 2 children are slaughtered, Detective Larry Foggia is assigned to the case over the objections of the main investigator, Arnie Knudsen. The mayor wants results now. Foggia has to ignore internal politics and concentrate on finding the killer. But the Fog City Satan is no ordinary killer, and ordinary police methods aren't going to be enough to find and stop him. A frightening occult experience forces Foggia to turn to San Francisco's psychic community for help. A skeptic, Foggia confronts true evil when his mother becomes a victim of the demonic forces gathering in the city, and a portion of his soul is stolen by the Fog City Satan. No ordinary madman, indeed. The Fog City Satan is the advance force for a group of conspirators determined to free the demon Belial, or Belial, as it's pronounced in the audiobook, which was really weird because it's actually spelled Belial, and determined to free the demon Belial, the Master of Lies, from centuries of imprisonment. Weakened by his encounters with the demon's servant, his claims of occult powers falling on deaf ears within the police department, Foggia stands alone against Belial. If he fails to defeat the liar, his family will be the first sacrifices to Belial's new world order. This book is so fucking disturbing. I remember, now the hardback has 330 odd pages in it. And the audiobook went so quick. This book, let me tell you what, this is a warning. This is a trigger warning to all men out there. This book has got one of the most fucking disturbing scenes of penis torture and removal by a razor sharp blade that you will ever read. And it made me cringe. Oh my God, it made me cringe. But with the book starting out, it starts out with a young family, a husband and wife, mother and father, and their kids. The parents are nailed to the floor. The mother and father are nailed to the floor and tortured in a way that just is actually really, really hard to read. And then they're forced to watch, while being nailed to the floor, they're forced to watch their two young kids, their son and daughter, be burned alive. And it is just so disturbing. And these are 4 of the 24 bodies that this killer just mutilates and destroys. Now, the Fog City Satan is, I don't want to spoil anything, but it is horror at its best. And if you have a strong stomach for disturbing scenes of body horror, you will love this. Tammy Ellis, if you've never read this book, you are going to love this. I know now Tammy is an author herself, but she loves extreme body horror. And I'm not sure if she's read this, but this book is, it's very messed up. And it's great because the way Graham Masterton writes, he makes you feel like you're right there. And I spoke of his book, The Manitou. He even brings up Harry Erskine and Gitchy Manitou in this book in a really cool way. So it took me back to the days of reading The Manitou and Revenge of the Manitou and The Djinn and Charnel House. And in fact, this book is just as disturbing and gore-filled as his book Charnel House was. So yeah, if you love body horror and if you love extreme violent horror, pick it up. It's a great book. It's still in print. It's had many revisions, but yeah, with this cover, The Black Angel, I really thought, wow, this is a new book. But once it started and that scene opened, I knew I had read it before, and I grabbed my book that I just showed you, Master of Lies, and I thought, oh yeah, this is the same story. And it was great to relive it. Highly recommended. I gave it 5 drops, just 5 gore knife slashes. But so with that being said, I wanted to show you guys some books that I got in the mail over the last couple days. Now, a lot of us know and love the author Jerry Roth. He is the author of 4 great books that I've loved. Bottom Feeders, his book of his horror novel of a prison scene is great book. I interviewed him live on the channel. He also wrote On the Tip of Her Tongue, which had a twist in it that you had to physically have the book in your hands to catch the twist. And he also wrote Throwing Shadows, a dark collection of short stories. But the other day, I got this box in the mail, and I was really, really surprised because I thought, what is this? And I shook it, and I thought, wow, there's nothing in this box. And then I opened the box to this very thin, different book. And I thought, what the hell is this? This is the ABCs of Horror workbook. Yeah. So remember when we were all kids and we were in school, and we had those really cool workbooks where we did our ABCs, or we learned our letters or our numbers? This is Jerry Roth's sick version. Yeah. He wrote in it, for Richard, stay spooky, J. Roth. This was so cool. I read it cover to cover in about 20 minutes. Each letter of the alphabet has very creepy little drawings. A is for amputee, and then it just goes through. And then at the end of every alphabet page, there is a quote by either someone horror related, horror novel, horror authors, and this says, this will be a new amputation. You've been a part of my flesh underneath all of my skin. Your removal will bleed and leave me lame for a time. Julie Berry. Yeah. So at the last page of each alphabet, before you go into the next one, B is for Banshee. There's just, he goes through all of the letters of the alphabet. And this was such a fun book. It was great. Very well thought out, very clever. I don't know if this is available for sale on Amazon or wherever, but I'm sure you could get it from Jerry Roth's page. And then it says, thank you. Look out for upcoming workbooks. So yeah, it says, Jerry Roth is a horror and science fiction writer from Ohio. The ABCs of Horror is a dark workbook to help your inner monster learn their ABCs. This workbook is meant for horror fans and for more mature children. Parental guidance is suggested. I love this. It was so much fun. And then I also ordered a book. Now, I recently got I don't want to say turned on to, but I recently discovered, I'd heard of this husband and wife for years, but their names were Fred and Rose West. And they were probably two of the UK's most disgusting serial killers that I've ever discovered. But this is the true and terrible story of surviving a childhood with Fred and Rose West. Love as always, Mom, XXX. This is written by Mae West, one of their 4 kids. And it says, on the back, there's a very disturbing picture. It says, May, I mean this. I'm not a good person, and I let all of you children down. Rose West. This was from the prison while she was imprisoned. But I haven't read this yet. And it says, you're 21 years old. Police arrive on the doorstep of your home, 25 Cromwell Street, with a warrant to search the garden for the remains of your older sister you didn't even know was dead. Bones are found, and they are from more than one body. And so the nightmare begins. You are the daughter of Fred and Rose West. This story, I know, is going to disturb me. They were just sick people. And on the inside cover, this also says, it has taken over 20 years for Mae West to find the perspective and strength to tell her remarkable story. Through her own memories, research, and the letters her mother wrote to her from prison, Mae shares what it was like to grow up a West. From a toddler locked in a deathly basement to a little girl living in fear of her mother's violence and a young teen fighting off the sexual advances of her father, May's story is one of dramatic survival. This unique and gripping story is as shocking in its brutality as it is in its normalcy. To May, Fred and Rose were just mom and dad. To the world, they were the most notorious serial killers of modern times. Yeah, they were disgusting. The stuff that they uncovered that these people had done is just going to be a book that I need to go into with a very open mind. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So you guys, that is it. Sorry I kept you this long. You guys, thanks for following the channel. I've had so much fun, and sorry, I'm so sorry that I haven't had a review open like 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. But I've got 4 more books coming up that I've recently finished that I want to review. So as always, pick up a good scary book. Have great nightmares. Just remember, there is real evil out there. And hey, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and just listen for that creepy creep coming down the hall. Happy nightmares, everybody. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm Richard with Nightmares Anyone. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe also. I forgot to tell you that. If you do like the comment, share the channel with friends. Do you know somebody who loves horror? Do they like being scared, watching scary movies? Drop by. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave all comments down below. I do read them all, believe it or not. I love horror. And hey, you guys, Summerween is here. Yeah. It's July. Last month was the halfway mark. May actually is the halfway mark to Halloween. But hey, summer is the time that, hey, we all like to be scared. Take care, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, you guys. Like always, it's me, Richard, with Nightmares Anyone. Don't forget to pick up a good scary book. Have great nightmares. Yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense. Have a great nightmare, but have a good nightmare. It's being scared is good for you. Cleanse the old pumper. Be kind to people. Be nice. Enjoy your horror. Stay scared. And you guys, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, you guys. Yeah, he's creepy. I did a huge diamond painting of Sam. Maybe I'll give it away one day on this channel. Take care, you guys. See ya.